Good morning and welcome to Crypto Charts Daily. This is the Crypto Charts Daily Report. Today is October 3rd, 2025. Let's get right into it. As you guys see here, Bitcoin is bouncing its support as well as Ethereum and XRP. What the weekly candle close would have to look like to break highs on each one of these pairs and continue bullish momentum. Let's get right into the report. As you guys can see, the market cap is up past 4 trillion at 4.14 trillion, up 1.3%. The CMC20 up 1.4%. Fear and greed up slightly, almost in the 60s here, but we are still in a neutral state. Altcoin season has been in the 60s for a bit, but I think on Wednesday did it slip down into the 50s, and then the average crypto RSI is becoming overbought again, as we could see a sea of green here for all the cryptos. Let's get right into the technical analysis. Starting off with Bitcoin, we could see we're back up to 120. We did call for the push to those highs at 125 if we respect this order block here and respect those lows of 107. And the reason this order block respected is because this high did reject price. We did wick off this high, so that's why this last weekly candle and then this bullish weekly candle that pushed price past those highs is our new order block, is our new support, and that's why price respected 108, and we did just call for the push to 125. Jumping down onto the daily time frame, you could see our chalk that we had marked, and we wanted to see price either break these lows of 107 or then go close above this resistance here. We closed above the resistance and we did just call for the push. So now we'll just look for the break of that high of 124. If price does get rejected at these highs, just look for the push back down to test that support and break these 108, 107 lows. Looking at Ethereum on the week here, we could see how price bounced off this support of 3,500 and we closed a big order block here. Price then coming down into this order block. And if we closed this week bullish above the high of 4,450, we'll then go push for those highs at 5,000. If we get rejected here though, we'll just look for the push to test this order block again or test this support at 3,500. Now jumping down on the daily time frame, we can see how price respected that structure here, that respected this support at 3,500. And because of this internal break here of this support, I would label it as a sweep because we are following higher time frame structure, but we do have to keep in mind that price broke past this support here. And now we're going to go retest order blocks or retest highs, and we could see rejection. But seeing that we're following bullish momentum, just look for price to start breaking these highs of about 4,700 and $5,000. If we do get rejected though, we should start rejecting out of this high here. XRP respecting support here, hopefully going to close this week out bullish, and then we'll look for a push past these highs of about 319. And if price ends up wicking this high here or wicking these equal highs at about $3, big resistance here at about $3, we'll look for price to then go test this support again. And now on the daily chart, you can see how we swept those lows. We closed below this, creating resistance, and then closed back above this flip here, respecting support and then pushing back into this resistance here that pushed price below support. So we are going to look for this test of this 312 order block again, this 312 resistance, and if we close in it or above it, we'll look for a push to highs. But over the weekend, just look for price to test that resistance. All right, guys, jumping into the altcoins, starting with Binance Coin, we did close yesterday above the high of 1,087. Incredible strength here for Binance Coin. All I could say is that we are just going to look for price to create new all-time highs. There's nowhere I could really say right now that price is going to reject because we don't have any previous resistance levels. So if we do end up retracing, just look for price to test this support. Solana here on the day did get rejected at that 250, 260 resistance and then did retrace down to that 187 support. And now we are just bouncing in between this area. Over the weekend, just look for price to push past these highs of 250 And if we end up getting rejected out of this zone, we'll then look for the test of support. Cardano here, beautiful structure, break to the upside, testing support, and we did just call for the test of this support at 77 cents for the past few weeks. We got our test, and now we are going to test this resistance up here. So look for price to break above these highs of 94 cents over the weekend, or get rejected out of this resistance here to then go test this support again. Chain link on the day here, we could see how price broke above this support, retested it, and then ripped to higher time frame resistance. We got rejected at that higher time frame resistance, and now we are just down trending here. But as you guys could see, we did create a new support and resistance flip. This low that broke this high now becomes a new support and resistance flip, and you can see how we are just testing that now. So testing a higher time frame order block paired up with support, we will just look for price to then go test this higher time frame support. But as you could see, we marked out yesterday perhaps that we could get rejected out of this order block that broke this structure here now. So it creates kind of an internal battle here. And we will just look for price to reject off this most recent break of structure to then go test this support again. If we end up closing in this resistance or breaking past the highs, we'll then look for the push to higher time frame resistance. That one just got a little complicated. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but this is a pretty advanced look at market structure here. Beautiful example though. Let's clean it up to simplify. So we broke structure, we're trending upwards, testing resistance, and now we have this internal chalk here, this internal change of character or break of structure, and now we are just down trending into our higher time frame support, and now we're bouncing higher time frame support, and hopefully we go break those highs of $27. Stellar Lumens, same as XRP. We marked this low as a sweep because we never closed below it, and now we are just bouncing up to test that resistance again. We did close above this resistance of 40 cents. So now we'll look for the break and retest here of this support and resistance flip. So 40 cents becomes support, and now we'll look for the test of that support and the push to break these highs of 41 cents. If we get rejected at these highs here and close back below this 40-cent price level, it will become resistance, and then we could look for sells off that. But we are just looking for that now test of 40 cents to then go push past these highs of about 41 cents. Avalanche here, breaking structure to the upside, coming down to sweep out some structure and fill in balance. And now we'll just mark this low of $27. If we close below the low of $27, we'll go test higher time frame support. If we close above here, $31 on the day, we'll then look for the push to highs. HBAR Hedra, we did have support flip resistance. We tested that resistance, again, got rejected. Broke the lows, we did close below the lows, so now we are just looking for a test of that resistance again to then go push price past these lows of 20 cents. If we close below 20 cents this weekend, we'll look for the test of higher time frame support. If we close above and break above this 23-cent level, we'll look for the break and retest. We do need to push past the highs of 25 cents to then go continue to this higher time frame resistance and break highs. Litecoin, we had a beautiful rejection at resistance, then a break through and above that high, a test of resistance with more breaks of structure. Beautiful stuff here. And we are just testing that 103 support that we called out for the past few weeks. And now we are looking, obviously, because we broke this low here, we are looking at this as resistance, and I did say we need to close above 120 to then go push to highs. We are getting wicked out, we are getting rejected here, so we can mark this as a sweep for now. But if we close above, obviously, this high of 121 on the day, we'll look for the push to highs. If we get rejected, just look for price to then go retest that support again. Polkadot, not much to say. We are just accumulating here at lows. We have resistance at $6, so we'll just look for this trend line, this high to break here of about $5 to then go push up to that resistance. And as you can see, we are just accumulating under this resistance here. So we do need a break of that $5 high to then go look for price to push higher. Uniswap did break structure, did break this low to the downside. So we are looking for price to just test this support. Pretty amazing, still holding these lows. So we did say we'll just accumulate in this range here. And we needed a close below the lows of 85 cents to then go push to higher time frame support. We've never closed below, so we are just still trapped in this range here. But we are going to look for the break above $1 for then the break and retest to then go break these highs of $1.17. Polygon, beautiful rejection at resistance, going to get our liquidity. And we did say, let's just look for the reaction out of this support off of these lows. This is a beautiful reaction, and I am just going to look for price to then go test this order block and test this resistance. If we end up breaking down though and close below the low of 21 cents, then we'll just look for higher time frame support. Flare, if we close below 2.5 cents today, we'll probably go push down to lows and test support. If we could get a close over the weekend above 2.6 or just above 2.5 cents, we'll look for the push high to highs. Algorand doing exactly what we thought. We had this break of structure, this failure of support here. So we are just looking for the retest of that now resistance at 22 cents. If we close this weekend above support, we'll just look for the break and retest and the push to those 25-cent highs. But if we close bearish, we'll just look for continued rejection to then go break these lows of 20 cents. Quant, we said if we closed above these highs here of about 105, we then go push to 117. We did close above these highs, so we will look for the push to 117. But if we do end up getting rejected here over the weekend or over the next few daily candle closes, we'll look for the lows to break of 86 and the test of that higher time frame support. IOTA making a break out of this higher time frame support here. And we will just look for a push past these highs of about 20 cents. If we get rejected here at 18 cents, we'll look for the push past these lows of 15 cents. And XDC, nothing new, looking for the test of that 6 cent support to then go push up to 10 cents. All right, guys, that concludes this episode of the Crypto Charts Daily Report. If you told your friends to buy crypto at highs and they lost half their money and they hate you, send this video to them. If you enjoy this type of in-depth technical analysis, drop a like and a subscribe. It helps out a ton. I'll see you guys Monday for Meme Coin Monday. All right, guys, peace out.